Hello everyone, welcome to our series on environment and our story. Today is about the eco-sensitive zone. So before we dive deeper, let me just mention one point regarding the Nanda Devi peak. So the Nanda Devi, this peak is particularly, within this peak, this division of this Nanda Devi West and Nanda Devi East, and this Nanda Devi East, which is slightly lower compared to its western counterpart, is referred to as the Sunanda Devi. And also this, it rises, with regards to the Nanda Devi, peak, it rises 3,300 meters above its immediate southwest base. That is on the, which is called as the Dakshini Nanda Devi glacier. Okay. Then, with regards to the ecosensitive zones, why it was in use? Ecosensitive zones. So, the Karnataka, why it was in use? The Karnataka government rejected the, write it as the Karnataka government rejected the recommendation of the Kasturi Rangan Committee So this committee basically recommended the protection of the fragile Western Ghats region. So this Kasturi committee basically recommended the protection of this fragile Western Ghats region from environmental degradation. So for this, it has to be identified as ecosensitive zone. So within that, over 37% of the area of the Western Ghats is recommended to be ecosensitive zone. However, much of it is in Karnataka, much of it is in area is it in Karnataka, then followed by Maharashtra. So this 37% of the fragile area of Western Ghats, which is recommended to be the ecosensitive zone by this committee, is spans across 60,000 square kilometers. So what is this? What are ecosensitive zones? Basically, they are protected areas around national parks, wildlife sanctuaries, declared in order to protect the area from environmental degradation and basically to reduce forest depletion, you can say, human animal conflict. You can imagine it something like this. All of this is ecosystem zone, this is national park or wildlife sanctuary. So they are those areas with identified environmental resources having high values, having incomparable values, you can say, or extremely high value. So these are the areas with, you can write it here, areas with identified environmental resources having high or incomparable values because of its landscape, because of its wildlife, because of its biodiversity, because of its natural value, because of its historical value, historical and cultural values you can mention. So when you say historical values, maybe that places may have archaeological importance. Uh, Within that area, they may be available of ancient burial sites or ancient ruins, which help us in understanding about the past human settlements, or they may be practicing certain traditional practices with regards to the pesticide usage or farming practices, rainwater harvesting, which has been passed down from generations, which we can learn from them. So, and also with regards to the natural value, habitat protection can happen here, carbon sequestration, because of its rich forest cover and sustainable development practices which are being followed. That particular area can be an area of habitat protection, or also because of the rich forests, grasslands, wetlands, it can be an area with, I mean, it can be considered as an area of highest carbon sequestration. So this is called as natural value, and it might be an area with highest biodiversity and also richness of population or species, you can say, or it can be home to endemic species. Consider, for instance, in the Western Ghats region, with regards to that particular region, they have this Nilagiri tar and lion-tailed macaque, which are endemic to that particular region. So this committee regarded 37% of the area of the Western Ghats to be declared as eco-sensitive zone. However, you would be surprised to know that the Madhav Gadgil Committee or the Western Ghats Experts Ecology Panel recommended to declare 100% of the total area of the Western Ghats as eco-sensitive zone. So this eco-sensitive zone, when you say that they are like protected areas around the national parks or wildlife sanctuaries, basically declared in order to reduce forest depletion and human conflict, in order to prevent environmental degradation. Basically, their purpose is to prevent environmental degradation, you can say, to protect the environment. So this eco-sensitive zones, within these eco-sensitive zones, I would like to just mention here that they have recommended to declare this area as eco-sensitive zone 1, 2 and 3. This is of very high sensitive area. This is high sensitive and sensitive area, like this. So eco-sensitive zones are basically notified by the central government, and the corresponding ministry is the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, under the Environmental Protection Act 1986. You see, within this act, there is no mention of eco-sensitive zone. Basically, the government of India mentions that, it is mentioned in the particular act that the government of India can restrict areas where industries, any process or operations with regards to the industries or any operations, if at all they're carried out, they shall or shall not be carried out. They shall be carried out, they shall not be carried out. It means that the government of India can restrict those areas if at all the industries have to be constructed. So based or subject to certain safeguards, if they feel that the particular area has to be protected, and they can restrict that particular industry from operating in that particular area. That means they're considering the safeguard, because ecosystem may get damaged if they allow industrial operations or industrial process or industries in that particular place. That means Government of India, it is also mentioned that Government of India can restrict industries areas with regards to the location of industries or the establishment of industries. Okay. So, which means that from this they have derived this power, they have declared eco-sensitive zones or eco-fragile areas. So there is no specific mention of eco-sensitive zones, but from this they have derived to declare certain areas as eco-sensitive zones, because based on this restriction. Okay. Not sure about the second clause exactly. I have to check it once again. But this first clause is restricting the areas. However, this is for your understanding only. Restrict areas with regards to the industries, processes, operations which shall or shall not be carried out based on certain safeguards. I think this maybe it is with location to the establishment of industries only, but I'm not sure. Let me check this and get back to you. So it basically operates on the core or buffer model. So the core area must have the legal status. I mean, it must be a national park. Legal status of a national park. The buffer area, however, can be a national park, a tiger reserve, a forest reserve, or a wildlife sanctuary. And there are certain areas which are prohibited within eco-sensitive zones. So what are the areas prohibited? Commercial mining, commercial usage of firewood, major hydroelectric power projects, sawmills and industries causing pollution. Sawmills and industries causing pollution. These are all prohibited. With regards to the regulated activities, so regulated activities are establishment of hotels, resorts, commercial use of natural water resources, including groundwater. You can write as including groundwater. Then what else is regulated? And there are also certain activities which are permitted actually. Drastic changes in agricultural systems. Drastic changes in agricultural systems are also regulated. And ongoing horticultural, agricultural practices are permitted. Adoption of green technology, renewable energy, usage of renewable energy, you can say, organic farming. These are all permitted. So these are all permitted within eco-sensitive zones, and I'll discuss the rest in the next class. Thank you. Stay tuned for more updates.